Happy New Real. Let me start that over. Happy New Year's for realsies.
Happy New Year's for realsies. Yeah, the 22nd, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. The past 3 things were all recorded last year. So, you got any news? I actually haven't been able to keep up with any of it at all.
I guess I made a little mini New Year's resolution to actually, purposefully do some gaming this year. Which is to say,
instead of accidentally playing?
Well, my attitude has always been like, it's a fun hobby, so, when I get to it, I'll do it. And that's great. That'll work for me. And then I just never do it, right? I mean, life makes you busy. So I've been making time for games, aiming at averaged out maybe an hour a day, and keeping a little journal just for fun of not just games, but various activities. And I've managed to put in 30 hours since the new year, which is comparable to probably all my gaming last year, honestly.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, so it's been good. Just kind of sneaking gaming in after wife and kids go to bed, in the early morning, kind of at lunch, that kind of thing. It helps that I'm playing a Game Boy Advance game right now.
Yeah.
So I'm playing through Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I'm also playing through the first Gargoyle's Quest. And Tactics Advance is a long game.
What are your thoughts on it so far? Are you enjoying it?
Remind me, have you played it?
I'm pretty sure I beat it.
You're pretty sure. Okay.
It was back in college, I think. I'm not sure exactly, but it was a while ago, and I'm pretty sure I beat it, and I'm pretty sure I hated every moment of it.
It's funny actually. I remember when the game came out, buying it like right then and there, so I went to play it, and I booted up, and it's copyright 2003, and it's just like, oh man, I've wanted to play this game for 15 years, and it sat on my shelf that long. I don't hate it. I really, really, really enjoyed Final Fantasy Tactics, like the original.
Yeah, me too.
97, 98, whenever that was.
That's still one of my all-time favorites.
Me as well, actually. And there's probably a million things I like about that game that are absent from Tactics Advance. I'm certainly not liking it as much. That said, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a different take on something I do really enjoy. It's kind of like, it goes back to the same way maybe that we feel about the Metroids, right? Like, it's a spin-off with some quirks, and it's weird, and it's nowhere near the quality of the original, but it does it for me, I guess.
Well, what's interesting is I see it come up on Reddit quite a bit, and it seems like there's a lot of people that that's their favorite game. They love that one. And I don't know
seen those people.
I don't know if it's because they played it first or what, but there's 3 reasons that it wasn't my favorite, and I don't know if I should get into it before you finish playing it if you're enjoying it.
Are they spoilers? I mean, I'd love to hear it.
They're not spoilers. It's just the mechanics of the game itself that I don't like.
Particularly,
I feel like story-wise, I didn't embrace the fact that it was like this kid story. Like they read this story, they read a book and fall into the book or something. Like I didn't.
The never-ending story.
Yeah, like I didn't enjoy that component of it. Like for me, comparing that to the original one was much more of like a political, religious thing that seemed like it had a lot of depth to it.
Absolutely, the original felt like almost a kind of like as an adult you could get into that story and really enjoy it. And there's all the betrayals and, like you say, kind of the I don't know, religious, like corruption in the church. Like it's just a deep story with kind of somewhat adult elements, whereas this is, like you say, very, very childish. And again, that to me goes back to it being, I guess, a spin on something I really enjoy that isn't they span it into something I enjoy less. But I don't know. Have you played I forget the exact title, A2 or whatever, the next Final Fantasy Tactics? Yeah, I actually don't know a lot about it, so I'm kind of holding my breath for that one on the story side. Yeah, the story sucks. There's like nothing to it, and it's quite aimless too, right? Like
that was my second thing, is that I felt like they pushed the job system so much. Like in the first in Tactics for the PlayStation, it was like you can send your characters off on missions, and it seemed like doing those missions was the point of this game.
It is kind of like, again, I haven't gotten to the end of it. I know there's 300 missions, and it feels like for every legitimate main storyline mission, there's like 10 or so completely pointless side missions.
Yeah.
And I don't actually, it's been so long since I've played the original. If I remember correctly, like those side missions, I just remember in the original there was a lot to read. There was like a little mini encyclopedia.
Yeah, it was basically
stuff.
you go to a bar and you hear a rumor, and then you're allowed to send party members off on that mission, and then...
Well, that's this one, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that was in the original as well.
No, yeah, that was in the original, and it was like, then you wait X numbers of turns, and they come back, and you get to hear the results of their mission.
Yeah, this one, it's just like... It was successful, and then you can move on.
Yeah.
So the missions are like you don't even need to read them. You
Yeah.
can just kind of check what the needed item, what the required item in class is, and what item you get, and then they all link together because you need some item you get out of this quest to do this other quest.
Yeah. I remember it being pretty cool in the original because they were all like Easter egg references to past Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, and they were also very, if I remember, I mean, I really enjoyed the game. It's just been so long. If I remember, they were very, I guess, I don't know what the word is, like on topic somewhat. Like you were in this time period, and this was kind of the socioeconomic context. So this kind of thing has happened, and here's the job you have. This, like Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, the jobs are like, or the missions are just like, I need someone to help me with my homework. Send this character for 5 days. Like it's just like almost obnoxious, like not even interesting missions, and then you don't get a result, making it even more pointless. Like it's not like a little mini story that you can at least kind of like, oh, that happened, I can read what happened, okay, cool. It's like zero attempt to give it any flavor, right?
Yeah.
So that was certainly a sore spot. I agree. I guess I like I like this series. Like I liked Tactics Ogre. I liked Final Fantasy Tactics. And then this game is kind of next in the series. It's got the same feel. It's got the same graphical look. And the actual, you're kind of griping about the mechanics a bit. That's actually one of the things I do like about the game.
So the thing about the mechanics that drove me nuts was the judge system.
That's what everyone says.
Like
I know. I knew you'd say
the fact that there's arbitrary rules on how you're allowed to kill people is stupid. Like I hated it.
Weird. It's really bizarre. I don't hate it, but I used to. I don't know. I've grown to tolerate it, I guess. Did you get to the? Right. I mean, well, if you've beaten the game, you must have gotten to where you get law cards and you can swap out the laws.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like, it's funny because
how does that make any sense at all? Like,
well, it's nonsensical. Yeah, but I mean, it's like,
oh wait, he's got a card. I guess I'll let him attack with lances.
Well, it's like the developers have acknowledged that this mechanic they built into the game is annoying and have given you a way to turn it off. I mean, I get it. It's like it's kind of interesting that you can. Oh man, it's kind of interesting you can apply laws, I guess. So if you went in a battle and like everyone is using, I don't know, whatever crazy magic against you, you can turn the no magic law on.
You couldn't do it mid battle, strategy.
You can only hold so many law cards, and I always keep there's two types of law cards. There's the turn on laws and turn off laws, and I always throw away the turn on laws because they're quite useless. It's just the turn off laws. I just want to turn the laws off, right?
Right.
And you can use those mid battle. So I think you can use the turn on laws mid battle.
Maybe that was my thing too. Is I didn't realize you could use it mid battle, and I would do stuff like at the beginnings of battles or something. But I don't know. It's been too long for me to remember.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, it's mindless enough that I can just quickly turn it on for 15-20 minutes and play, but it's involved enough that it keeps my interest.
Yeah.
I will say it starts to get a little repetitive. I mean, I think the problem is there's too many easy battles. Like the main storyline, those battles are somewhat challenging, but just kind of like wandering around and bumping into clans and doing the little side missions, they're always like super easy. So
and that takes me out of it a little. I think that comes with the fact that maybe they did design it for kids. Because, I don't know, the original Tactics had kind of the opposite problem. Like, there was a battle where you could actually just get stuck and have to restart your game if you saved it just before that battle. where you have to like do a solo fight against one of the enemies. I forget.
That's happened to me. Really? That's happened to me in 2 games I can think of. One.
I think the character's name that you fight is like Ygraph or something. And
oh man, it's been so long. Like I played that game in junior high.
Yeah. I played the crap out of it in junior high though. I must have logged at least 400 hours into that thing.
400? Wow, I logged I think 80, and I thought that was impressive.
Well, because I mean, because I played through it several times.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that would do it. Fair. I was going to say 2 games have ever done that to me, and it's the original Game Boy Zelda. The last level, there's like a secret. You get a bunch of keys, and you have to use them in some sequence. There's like a specific sequence that you can do that makes it so you can't get enough keys to beat the level.
Yeah.
So that happened. So thanks. And of course, I'd saved after doing that. And also Xenogears. Have you beaten that?
No, I haven't even played it.
So Xenogears is interesting. I don't borderline-ish on a spoiler, but once you get in the last level, you can't actually go back out of the last level.
Right.
And so if you go into the last level with like suboptimal armor and weapons and stuff,
yeah,
that's it. Good luck, right? And the boss is brutal. I remember being stuck on that boss for month. Like I would just play the game every night and do the boss battle and lose.
Yeah.
Like I'd come home and redo that battle with the hope I could win, and I eventually beat it. But I found out later that there was all this armor and stuff I was supposed to get that would have made it much more tolerable. So
I've considered picking that up a couple times, but I remember I don't know if I tried it at a friend's house or what, but like only for a couple minutes. But I remember the text speed being like ridiculously slow.
It's so, you know what it is for that game that does it for me? I would recommend that game. I do like it, but the load times are brutal, and
yeah,
it wasn't the text speed, but like anytime you have to switch context or like you go into town from the world map or something. So the worst is like you pause it and it'll load for, I don't know how long. It's probably not that long, but it feels like forever, like 5 seconds or something before like your characters pop up on the screen. You can change the armor and save it and stuff. Oh, that pause to load was the most frustrating thing ever. Just right there, press pause button or X or Super Nintendo X or whatever. Yeah, get used to it. It's the PS1 era curse, I think.
Yeah. So I remember finding out about that, and that was basically what made me decide not to get invested in it, because I just don't want to deal with those wait times.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that. No. That was one of my big gripes for Final Fantasy VIII was the load times.
I don't really remember load times for that. I remember.
How can you not remember?
I remember playing Chrono Trigger on the PlayStation, and that had ridiculous load times.
You know, I never played it. I played the Super Nintendo one to death.
There's no point on the PlayStation.
It's just for cutscenes.
Yeah, right? There's like added cutscenes, and otherwise it's identical plus load times. So. Skip the PlayStation version. But that said, if you've got the, I think it was 3DS, or maybe, I never play any of my 3DS games in 3D, so I can never remember if they were Game Boy Advance or 3DS or what.
I think Chrono Trigger came out on the DS, if that's what you're going to refer to. Yeah, which I do own that, and I have beaten it on that. Yeah, that version was
effectively the same, and then there was even more additional stuff in it, so.
Yeah, I don't know, the like cartoon sequences. I mean, I didn't care. Like they just felt jammed in. Like I said, I haven't played it, but the idea of, I mean, they did that for like Final Fantasy V and VI and all that. I almost found it kind of jarring. Like I don't know. I'd rather. That's what I like about the DS version, where it's just the same game with added stuff, and the added stuff feels like it could have been there at the time the game came out. It doesn't feel like this tacked on, like.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, coding.
Yeah. So is that what you've been putting all your hours into? Is just those 2 games, or?
Well, my company we had a team event where we went to the arcade for the day.
Right.
So I beat Raiden Fighters. That was fun.
Nice.
And pretty much, I mean, a little bit of other stuff here and there. I've been playing Mahjong again. A little bit. So that's about it.
So that was about 29 of the hours?
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is at 30 hours. And I started it last year and put like 3 hours in. So the other 3 hours are the other games, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't had nearly as much time to pick up a console and play anything.
The tables have turned, man.
Yeah.
So what is it? I mean, I know you moved.
Well, that's basically it.
So I guess I can't relate because whenever I've moved, it's been like dump the boxes there and I'm done. We slowly unpack over the next few months.
So when you moved, did you have a 2-year-old?
Well, that would complicate things a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah. Pretty much everything you do gets done at like a quarter of the pace is when you're childless, because it's like when you are able to actively work, you've got a kid slowing you down, and B, you've got to make sure you're like quiet and not doing anything, and that you're back at your hotel or whatever when it's nap time. So like we would go to Ikea and try to buy some furniture, and you've got basically like a 2-hour window that you can drive to Ikea, look through all the stuff, get to the checkout, and drive back home before it's like nap time, right? So trying to do an Ikea trip in that amount of time is ridiculous because it's a giant warehouse.
Does he not sleep in the car?
No, he does not. I mean, we don't own a car, right? So he's not used to being in the car.
Right.
Let me just enunciate that R extra much because I'm Nova Scotian.
I caught it.
So it takes a ridiculous amount of time to get anything done, and then that was basically the gist of it. Also,
but I mean,
this is the first time that I haven't packed myself. Like I'm used to being very methodical on how I pack, and I keep like everything exactly where I want it, and then I can unload it exactly where I want it. Whereas this time around, I wasn't allowed to do that. Like for insurance purposes, the movers had to pack everything.
Sure.
And then they unpacked everything, and we didn't necessarily have any shelves and stuff ready for it to go onto, so it was just dumped in a giant pile.
Which is also probably great when you have a 2-year-old running around.
Yeah, so
you have like a big fence around it.
Yeah, not even. We just have to manually wrangle them.
Man,
but yeah, so it was quite painful to get anything sorted. So I've got the majority of our furniture built now, and we've got everything at the minimum is now in the room that it belongs in. But we're still in the process of unpacking, and so we did. I haven't had any chance. I think we've only spent 2 nights in the apartment, and the past 2 weeks were all in hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you'd been. Oh wow. Okay. Well, didn't you? When did you first step into the apartment? Like not to look at it, but since like with the keys.
We got the keys on the 7th.
Okay.
And then our belongings arrived on the 14th.
So you've just been...
So we had the keys, and for the most part, like we were able to like do some IKEA shopping and just like do stuff like getting our health card and exploring the city a little bit for that first week, and then all of our stuff arrived on the 14th, and we were able to start unpacking and stuff. Pretty much immediately, but yeah, it's been a week basically. So yeah, I'm definitely going at a slower pace than I would when I was single.
Man, I mean, this is, of course you. Yes, like when I was single, I would come home and play games till 4 a.m. and that would be it. So now it's like, what, I don't know, 8 hours has gone to like 20 minutes here and there. So
I just meant with the unpacking.
You signed up for it. Unpacking, yes. Well, you could have just blanket applied the statement to everything in life, I suppose. But
yeah.
Yes.
But Yeah, so I did get a tiny bit of playing in. Here and there, I've been playing a couple games on my own. I've been playing Dragon Age Origins,
Cool.
which is I think that came out around the time we were in college. But it holds up pretty solidly. Like the writing in it and stuff is pretty good, and the gameplay is kind of what I prefer, because I played a lot of Guild Wars back in the day, so I don't know, it's very RPG-ish, and I probably should have played it back when it came out, except I think my computer was barely a word processor back then.
Right.
So I've been playing, I think I've been able to put about 6 or 7 hours into that.
Okay.
And then I started, I finally picked up Mighty Number 9. And I put an hour into that, and it's not the best game I've ever played, but I think the rage is much overdone on the internet for it. I don't think it's nearly as bad of a game as everyone's made it out to be.
You know, I have played it, and not for an hour, but kind of same feeling. I was very meh about it. It's almost it bothered me how mediocre it was, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of a bland game, so the fact that it's one of the more expensive ones that I've bought, because I backed it for like $40 on Kickstarter.
40, wow. Did you go for like the package with the art book and stuff?
I don't even remember. It may have been like a digital art book, which I've never even seen. Let me take a look here. View all. I just logged in. And of course, Kickstarter wants me to log in a second time. Mighty Number 9. Yeah, I should have gotten a digital retro game manual, which I've never seen. I should have gotten a digital art book, which I've never seen, and a digital soundtrack, which I've never seen. So I guess I should double check where that stuff went, because I basically got a Humble Bundle key, and that unlocked it on Steam. And so the game is the only thing I've ever seen, so I should track that down.
I don't know. I remember when it came out, you weren't like, oh man, but you were I don't know, I guess excited about it, or at least interested. I don't know what it was. It never really appealed to me. Yeah, the idea of the Rockman guy, the Mega Man guy, coming back on his own and making games. I mean, that was like, hey, cool. But just right from the start, the aesthetic and the something about it just didn't really appeal to me. So
for me, it was like, fuck Capcom, who didn't want Mega Man. Let's kickstart this indie thing, and that was basically the extent of my hype.
Yeah, I guess since I didn't have that as like a driving thing for me, I guess I just didn't feel anything. Yeah, I was kind of like I took the approach to wait and see, and now that the verdict's out, it's kind of like I'll pick it up for $1 if I get the chance. Yeah,
but I'm normally a patient gamer, and I wait for big sales and stuff. So I don't know. I backed that for 40, and that's like the most expensive game I got that year. So I don't think it is good enough that it deserves to have been the most expensive game I got that year.
At the same time, but if the most expensive game you got that year was $40, you're doing better than a lot of people.
Actually, you know what? I'm now looking at my list, and it wasn't the most expensive. The most expensive I got was Ni no Kuni.
How much was it?
I paid $56 for that.
You buy it when it was new?
Yeah. It had only been...
Was it worth $56?
I hope to find out someday. I played that for a couple hours, but at the time I only owned an SD TV, and so it was...
You couldn't read anything.
Yeah, I couldn't read a single bit of the text, because the people that designed that are assholes.
There was I feel like there was a big hatred for old TVs right around that period of time. Yeah.
All right. So I've played a little bit of those, and then we did crack out the Famicom Mini in the hotel and play a little bit of that at night when the kid was sleeping. So We played a little bit of Mario 2 or Mario USA.
Oh yeah, good. Have you beaten that back in the day?
Back in the day, yeah. And it's surprising how hard I find it now.
That's signs of your platforming skills slowly atrophying, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a difference because I've been playing harder games now, like Super Meat Boy, and I've been playing. I beat They Bleed Pixels last year, and those are both brutally hard. But you get to just like instantly restart and keep trying the same section over and over and over.
Whereas that's what makes it not hard.
That's
right?
what makes it not hard, right? Like any of those old games, like any of the old Castlevanias and Contras and stuff, you played it, and if you failed, then you start the entire game over again.
Yeah, I know it doesn't. It's famous enough; it doesn't need mention. But come on, Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
When you die in the boss and they send you back 2 levels.
Yeah.
I mean, that game is already so brutally hard. When that happens the first time to you, it's like, oh. But by the time that you get there, you've mastered the game because you've already died so many bazillion times and replayed a million times. It's almost like you just get used to going through that cycle. But anyway. Yeah.
So it's easy to forget when you've gone a while without playing any Nintendo games, just how hard they were.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's about the gist of it for my gaming so far. Is about like 9-10 hours.
Yeah,
which is good considering I'm in the middle of a move, but it's certainly not your 30 hours.
Well, you're working on. You're looking at about half an hour a day. That's like I said, it's better than my last year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did already break my New Year's resolution.
Which was?
Not to buy any more games.
What'd you buy?
I technically didn't break my resolution because I didn't buy a game. I bought a DLC for a game. So I bought the Fire Emblem Revelations. So
what's the DLC for it?
So they released Fire Emblem Fates, and it was initially 2 different things: Birthright and Conquest.
Right.
And
so you kind of bought the second half of a 2-part.
Well, no, I bought the third piece of it because those are both technically standalones. Where in one game you get to play as one faction, and the other you get to play as the other faction. And then there's a DLC edition where you get to like play the rest of the story.
I see.
So I bought that, and that was I bought that, but it was also mostly just so that I could see whether or not I could buy a Nintendo game on my 3DS. Which leads into what our topic was supposed to be for today of how moving affects gaming. So do you want to see do you want to hear the steps that I had to take in order to buy the Fire Emblem DLC?
By all means, I'm sure it's a wonderful story.
So we've discussed in the past the idea of regions and how I'm kind of fucked with that console due to living in Canada and it's being region locked to the US. So here's the steps that it took me to be able to buy this. First, I bought the console in Canada. Then I moved to the USA. I established a network idea. I moved back to Canada, and now I can't use the eStore because it's region locked to the USA. So I can't buy it in the Nintendo store either because I don't have a US credit card. So
they require a US credit card?
Yeah, you can't buy on the US Nintendo store unless you've got a US credit card. So that I just like can't buy from Nintendo. I can't convert the thing to a Canadian region, and I can't buy in the Nintendo region, or I can't buy in the US region.
I'm gonna guess you went to 7-Eleven and bought a card and put the code in.
No. I could do that if I bought a Nintendo card from like eBay or something from the US and had it shipped to me. But no. What I did with Pokemon was I was able to download it from Amazon because my Amazon account was still American. However, I bought ebooks on Amazon at Christmas time, and I converted my account to Canadian.
Okay.
So my Amazon account is now Canadian, and I can no longer buy digital downloads from Amazon. if I want to switch it back to an American account, I again need an American credit card. So I attempted to buy it through Best Buy, which required me to verify my phone number, which I was able to do because I still have a Google Voice number. However, you need to have a U.S. address in order to buy it from Best Buy.
Are you able to give them a U.S. address and then tell them to ship it to a different place?
I'm trying to figure out what I wrote down in my notes here. I think I did buy it from Best Buy. No, I wasn't able to do it through Best Buy. I needed to have a U.S. address along with my U.S. phone number, so I couldn't get it to work through them, so I had to buy it through GameStop instead. So in GameStop, it's the exact same way. You still need to have an American stuff, but I was able to use PayPal, and I was able to set up a fake shipping address because it emails the code and it doesn't actually ship it to you.
I see.
So I finally managed to get a code through GameStop using PayPal and a fake shipping address.
You're probably recording yourself describing something that's semi-allowed, but anyway.
So the next...
You're like, I made this fake address and did this fake transaction. Anyway.
So the next step in this is the Nintendo eStore won't recognize that code.
Oh, man.
You have to use the code in-game. So I had to load up... I had beaten Birthright and I had Conquest in my system. And in order to use the code, you have to get to Chapter 6.
Okay.
And I found it too difficult to get to Chapter 6. I kept dying, so I just gave up. And I put Birthright back in the system. And then I was finally able to use my code and get the DLC downloaded.
Man, at least they make it easy. They really want this game in your hands.
So I've finally have confirmed that if I want to continue buying games, I, at least for the moment, can do it through GameStop and using PayPal. But man, that's a lot of hoops to jump through right now. Like,
that's wild.
It's absolutely insane. So my other alternative is apparently I can call Nintendo and they can change my account. But from what I've understand, if I do that and I change my account to a Canadian account, I will lose all the DLC and digital purchases I already have. So I may as well just buy a new Nintendo DS if I'm going to do that, right? Which is probably what they're hoping for. But so that's one way that moving around can fuck you when you're trying to just enjoy a video game.
That's crazy. You know, you might want to double check on like requiring a U.S. address for a U.S. Amazon account. I don't know if I've... So, like, for example...
So you can register at Amazon.com, but you can't buy, like, MP3s and, like, digital downloads and stuff. You can't do that unless you can confirm a U.S. credit card. Got it.
Okay. I was going to say, I have a Amazon Japan account, which I use occasionally.
Yeah.
Every time I go to the in-laws' house, I'll buy something and ship it there and then just go pick it up. They will actually ship to my address here, but the shipping costs and duties and stuff are outrageous, as you could imagine.
Yeah.
But of course, then, like, if I buy a book or something, I have to go across the world to get it and then lug it back. It's kind of crazy, you know? So it's almost better just to drop into Kinokuniya or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay double the, you know, whatever their crazy markup is and just forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as moving, like, that kind of thing is a nightmare. I think what's interesting for me, obviously, like, compared to you, I have a very large physical library of games and stuff.
Yeah.
So, moving is, I mean, you know, of course I could say, oh, moving's a nightmare, but it's, I don't know, I kind of enjoy setting up my game room. I know it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm
like
looking forward.
Something.
I'm looking forward to hooking up all my consoles. I've got my TV and I've got a new TV stand that can like hold all the stuff and keep it relatively baby proof.
Right. Well, so you understand the feeling. So do you have a dedicated gaming space now that you can lock the door and not have a kid running around in?
No.
Not quite. Don't you have a 4-bedroom? How can you not make one room office game something that can lock the kid out?
So I do and I don't. The thing is, I game all around the house. So we do have a living room and a TV and a TV stand, and so my goal is to have my Xbox and PlayStation and Atari and Famicom and GameCube and laptop and PlayStation 2 all hooked up to that.
Okay.
I don't know if I forgot any systems there. But that should all be hooked up to the TV.
I can give you my opinion very quickly.
Yeah.
You're going to have... in my humble opinion, I know it's probably not worth it for you to pick up a crappy CRT or SD TV or something, but like playing GameCube, like any of those systems that connect via the red, white, yellow...
I don't mind it with the GameCube because I've got the original version that has the component or composite. I forget what it is, but it's got the...
composite, the like green and red, those ones?
Yeah, where it's got the 5 cables.
Yeah, you're looking at some delay there too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I have... my friend just gave me this. He had an original Xbox with like, you can... I don't know, whatever, jailbreak them and load like arcade games and stuff on them. Yeah, and so it's essentially a MAME box, and I have that connected to through HDMI, through that component or composite or whatever it is, to my nice TV here. And it's not bad, but it's I mean, if I'm kind of a what's the word? I don't know, purist or something. The gaming experience just needs to be perfect for me. So if I can perceive of lag, I'm quite dismayed. It's definitely there.
I personally haven't noticed an issue with it.
What are you playing on GameCube? I mean, if you're playing Smash Brothers or something, you'll notice.
I've been playing like Sonic the Hedgehog, on like the the Sonic Mega Collection or whatever.
Right.
And like tactical RPGs and stuff. So, yeah, I haven't been playing anything like Ninja Gaiden that requires fast reflexes.
Right. Well, hey, if it works for you.
Yeah.
I hate how it distorts the picture as well.
I do have a space that I'm planning on playing video games. So I bought an exercise bike. And my goal, I think we talked about this already.
You mentioned, yeah.
But yeah, my goal is to play like handheld stuff or like read books and stuff while I'm on the exercise bike. But there's enough room that I can easily stick a little CRT in the corner of that room or something, and I could be playing a console there as well. So
awesome. Cool.
So I might do that. But yeah, so that's kind of my goal. Is I do have that room with the exercise bike that's pretty small. And that is closed off, so the kid can't get in there, and I can play stuff at night in there while he's sleeping. And I do have like an office set up where Andrew and I both have our computers and our bookshelf, and obviously any sort of laptop gaming I'll be doing on there. But then any of my consoles will just be in the living room, and I don't know. I'm hoping to get him into those games soon, so. I don't know, I'm going to monitor it for a little while and see what we can get away with. Like, he enjoys picking up the second controller and banging on that while I'm using the Famicom Mini.
Does he enjoy it more than resetting it now? I mean, if the system was in front of him, do you think he'd
I think I've scolded him enough that he's not as keen to press the reset button now. he gets really embarrassed when we scold him, and so he doesn't like doing that now. But I do hope to be able to get him playing some of that stuff with me before the end of the year.
Nice. Cool. Well, back kind of to the topic at hand, I guess. I think for me, the big thing is that I like all my gaming stuff to be in one place. You've probably noticed. I mean, I have a fairly small room here. It's not even just my gaming stuff. It's kind of my I don't even know what you call it, personal life, I guess. Like, I jam all the games and books. Just everything here. And so it's, as the collection has grown, it's always... It almost, I feel like if I was to move again, suddenly it would be a consideration. Like, I would have to look for a place that would have appropriate space to hold everything and be like I could arrange it in such a way that would be nice. So where we're at now, I mean, you've seen the room. It's not tiny, but it's just such a volume of things in it that it's quite ridiculous. So I think I don't know.
I think you've got a little longer before you're going to be able to unbaby-proof that area. So.
Yeah, well, actually, I've reorganized it since you had last seen it. It's infinitely better now. It's actually usable.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure, actually, she could probably... I mean, a lot of stuff is within reach, but it's not, like, dangerous for her. Whereas, like, last time there was, like, CRTs kind of wobbling around on little stools and stuff.
CRTs wobbling around on top of other CRTs.
Indeed. I'm awesome. Yeah. I've repurposed a few CRTs into tables and like foot stands and stuff. So I'll call it the room's aesthetic, I guess. Yeah. It's really just the CRT is too heavy to move, so it's now a table.
You brought in it and then realized it wasn't convenient to actually use.
Well, I did I tell you what happened? I got this.
Yeah, you told me on Facebook.
Yeah, Toshiba, like right around when CRTs were kind of at the end of their life, like when they were not on sale anymore, or just before they were totally not sellable. Some of the best value, I guess, you could buy like a Sony Trinitron, but some of the best CRTs you could get for like quite a good price were those flat screen Toshiba ones, and they were I've always had a great experience with them, and that was what this was. It was this 36-inch flat screen Toshiba, like 2005, or just like quite new comparatively, this really new CRT. So I got it, and it's like there's not a lot of options to change the picture around, and the far right side of the picture is obscured. Yeah. And I just can't stand it. I'll put like a Nintendo game on it, and it's like you can see like score without the E. It just cuts off that last little bit. Yeah. So yeah, that did it for me. So it's now a table. Nice. 200-pound, very thick table.
Yeah. The question will be whether that's worth taking with you when you move.
No. That would be... I have an active Craigslist ad for someone to come get it for free that I renew every week. And there's been 0 bites. Yeah. The ad is like, bring help, it's 200 pounds. And I think that probably people read that line and think, yeah. Right. Yeah.
Maybe if you were like in downtown Seattle or something, you might get more bites. But I don't think that too many people want to go out to your neck of the woods to get that. Yeah. Well, I thought so. My wife is she uses something called Buy Nothing, and it's for trading baby goods for free. Yeah. And of course, there's a lot of disadvantaged people in the world. So you see people posting saying like, I really need a whatever, right? A crib, and I just can't afford it. And so people will say, oh, I have this extra crib. So of course, it benefits me to get rid of the TV, but I thought, if you're someone who doesn't really have a lot of money, maybe, like, sure, it's an older TV, but it's free, and it's a nice size. Yeah, I think it's just, the thing is, TVs are so cheap. A monitor is like, you can get a decent monitor for $60, right? Yeah, and that's the whole reason Black Friday is what it is, right? It's the chance for poor people to get a TV that they couldn't otherwise get. Because if you can get like a 1080p TV for like $100 on Black Friday, like why on earth would you get a CRT that's?
I should definitely I should stress the applicability to retro games.
Yeah, in my ad, like perhaps, that's the thing is that technology is now a thing that's it's exclusively enjoyed by retro geeks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
Something that's interesting is. So we got an Atari flashback thing a while ago. And we finally hooked that up just before Christmas and started playing that. And I had to spend a ridiculous amount of money getting that to work too, because for some reason the yellow and white cable that come with it, just for video and audio. Mm-hmm. For some reason, my TV just won't recognize it. Like, I think it's because the resolution is just so low that the TV just wasn't designed to recognize it. So it just says, like, invalid source or something, and it just won't recognize it. So in order to play that, I had to buy an RF modulator and then convert the yellow signal for the video and audio into like the old the like
antenna.
Like the type of connection that you'd have on cable TV.
Yeah.
So I had to connect that. So I had to buy the cable and buy a converter, and then I can plug that into my TV, and that works fine. And what's funny is like the connection with that is so shitty that it's actually like playing it on an old TV.
Atari. Awesome. Man, you should just hook up all your older systems through that thing.
Yeah, I might. Like the connection is like legitimately terrible. There's like you can see like static lines in it and stuff, and it's like it actually makes that experience I think a lot more fun than it would have been if it was like HDMI. But
there's no delay, right?
Right.
Yeah, because it's coming in through the cable signal.
Yeah.
There might be something if it's converting it. I don't know. That's awesome though.
Yeah.
You think that's a nightmare? Try connecting a real Atari to any TV anywhere ever.
That would be the exact same scenario, right? Like
there's no yellow and white. There's like this weird almost. I know you're converting it into what it was originally is what you're getting at, but not quite. It has like this weird wire that connects to this weird box that has a tendency to break, except there was a few systems that came out at the same time. So you can go to some specialty that use that same box.
Yeah.
So you can go to a specialty vendor and buy they still make those converters for people who have any of these old systems. So you buy that box and then it's the same. You get your RF signal out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So what's funny is that these flashback systems, at least the model that we have, I guess it's quite popular in the modding community because you can basically cut a hole in it, and then I haven't looked into exactly how much work is involved, but it's set up in a way that you can mod it fairly easily to just play the original cartridges.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I don't.
Do you have any original cartridges?
No, and I never owned an Atari, so this is my first experience with it, and I don't know that I enjoy the games enough that I'm going to go through that effort.
Exactly. Did I tell you my Atari story? I was working. No. I was working at a flyer packaging place, and it was right above a used junk store. And at lunch, one guy went down there, and then he came back up. And he was like, man, they have an Atari down there. They're selling an Atari. And he was like, I'm going to go home tonight and like pick up grab my cash and go pick up this Atari. It's going to be awesome. And I was like, oh, really? And we were both working the shift, right?
Yeah.
So I went and made a quick phone call. And I actually, this is quite asshole-ish, but I got my mom, before he had a chance, while I was at work and he was at work, to go and buy it for me. Yes.
So I have a similar story.
Nice.
I too was an asshole at one point in my life. So when I bought my original PlayStation, I bought it used. There was a guy, when was this? This must have been junior high. So there was a guy in our junior high who had a PlayStation, and I don't know if he wanted to trade it for an N64 or what at the time, but he didn't want it anymore. So he somehow I found out that he was trying to sell it, and there was another guy who was also wanting to buy it, and I guess he was kind of on the fence about it, and so the guy who's selling it let me take it home and try it, but he said that he wouldn't be able to sell it to me until he heard from the other guy.
Okay.
So I borrowed this PlayStation, and I went to Gamezilla, and I rented Final Fantasy VII. And so that was the first game I ever played on the PlayStation, was Final Fantasy VII. And I was so blown away playing this that when I took it back to the guy the following night or whatever, I told him, look, I talked to the other guy, and he says he's not interested, so I can give you money for this and buy it right now. And so that's exactly what I ended up doing. I bought it right then and there. And
since Truro, our hometown, is so small, you should tell me names of people offline, because I probably know.
That's exactly why I wasn't saying the names. Because of course you know them.
I shall also not name names. Did I tell you how I got my Dreamcast?
I think I remember.
Or do you remember? Okay.
You can tell me again, because I really don't know that well.
Again, without naming names, you'll probably know who immediately. We had a colleague who was crazy about Nerf guns.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you know the story, yeah.
Well, I don't remember the story, but I know exactly who had Dreamcast. And
well, anyway, this is high school. And Dreamcast had just come out. So this is the newest next-gen system.
Yeah.
Holy cow, it's Dreamcast. Everyone's kind of excited,
the text
hesitant maybe. But
the specs were amazing. There's no way this system could fail.
Yeah, well, regardless, it came to light that I had a particular Nerf gun since my youth that was like this coveted, amazing, rare Nerf gun or whatever. So to cut a long story short, we cut a deal and I traded this Nerf gun for his Dreamcast, and he gave me a Dreamcast, again, brand new, must have been, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars, but Dreamcast, 2 controllers, 2 memory cards, Virtual On, and what else? Shenmue, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
Shenmue, it was just crazy.
I think Shenmue was the only game he had played for it, and he didn't care for it that much.
Oh yeah, maybe, but I don't care, right? Like that was just win-win for me, and he seemed pretty pleased. So
yeah.
The score.
Yeah, to be young again.
Yes, Dreamcasts.
I actually debated buying a Dreamcast recently because, that they're making Shenmue 3 right now.
Yep.
I'm kind of interested in that. Like I've only ever heard good things about Shenmue except from that one guy.
Shenmue? Oh, you haven't really played it?
No, I haven't played it at all. I'm intrigued and I want to.
It's a very curious game. I find it fun. I'm not sure if it'd be your cup of tea, but try it. I
want to.
It's
I might end up emulating it.
Yeah.
I might end up emulating. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. Maybe they're gonna re-release it for modern consoles to promote the third one or something.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
because I'm interested in it, but I was actually really, really, really close to buying one for $50 on Craigslist.
Are we talking recently or?
Yeah, on Remembrance Day.
Okay.
Because Andrea, I think, was out of town at the time, so left to my own devices, I start going on Craigslist looking for additional consoles.
Awesome. That's when the gaming collection grows most, right?
Yeah. So I had debated picking one up, but apparently there's a really high failure rate on the disk drives. So I felt like even at $50, it wasn't worth it, considering the backlog that I have right now.
50's high. We went to a flea market and found a Dreamcast and a GameCube for $5 each in Canada. Well, so $5 Canadian.
It actually came with a bunch of games and accessories too. It wasn't just the Dreamcast, but
okay. Okay, fair.
But yeah, it's more than that if you look on eBay. But I didn't want to risk picking it up and then dealing with the disk drive.
Yeah,
failing on me and stuff. So
fair enough.
Anyway, so most of my stuff is finally getting set up here. I've like I said, got everything set into the individual rooms. I had to steal the power cable from my PlayStation to hook it up to my monitor because I can't find its power cord.
Oh, really? I have 50 of that exact power cord.
Yeah.
Except some of them have a square shaped side.
Yeah.
So the ones that are curved fit in everything, and the ones that are square only fit in a few things that actually have a square hole.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, hopefully within the next couple of weeks we completely finish unpacking. It'll be rough because I go back to work tomorrow. But Andrea is going on vacation pretty soon, so I'll get some spare time to hopefully finish squirreling stuff away. And cool. Then I can resume my gaming backlog.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, on that note, why don't we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm noticing that we're about 24 minutes over our 30-minute target, so...
Yeah, it's 20 minutes past my bedtime again, actually.
All right.
Cool. Okay. Well, best of luck unpacking.
Cheers.